Hello, okay, welcome back, Johnny Casting fans. Do you want me to start it? Okay, let's continue where we left off. It was the next 8 years is more important than anything if you don't want to be a part of that. Alright, enough, Kestrel snapped. I'm the strongest dragon in the Talons of Peace. You knew me. It doesn't matter how I feel about nasty little dragonettes. She eyed the eggshell on the floor, rumbling and scared palms together, although I thought at least one of them would be a skywing. I'll find us a fifth dragonet. Webs pushed past her, scales scraping against rock. There's no way back into the Sky Kingdom. Brainless, she said. They'll be guarding the hatchery closely now. They'll get the egg from somewhere else, he said grimly. The rainwings don't even count their eggs. I could take one from the rainforest without anyone noticing. Of all the horrible ideas, Kestrel said with a shudder. Rainwings are wretched creatures, nothing like skywings. We have to do something, Webb said. He hissed as his tail sent the eggshell skittering across the floor. In 8 years, the Talons of Peace will come looking for 5 darkness. Precious 5. We're going to make it true, whatever it takes. Part 1. Under the Mountain. 6 years later, chapter 1. Clay didn't think he was the right dragon for the big, heroic destiny. Oh, he wanted to be. He wanted to be the great mudwing savior of the dragon world, glorious and brave. He wanted to do all the wonderful things of expected of him. He wanted to look at the world, figure out what was broken, and fix it. But he wasn't a natural hatched hero. He had no legendary qualities at all. He liked sleeping more than studying, and he kept losing chickens in the caves during hunting practice because he was paying attention to his friends instead of watching feathers. He was all right at hunting, but all right wasn't going to stop the war and save the dragon tribes. He needed to be extraordinary. He was the biggest dragonet, so he was supposed to be the scary, tough one. The minders wanted him to be terrifyingly dangerous. Life felt about as dangerous as cauliflower. Fight! His attacker howled, flinging him across the cavern. Clay crashed into the rock wall and scrambled up again, trying to spread his mud-colored wings for balance. Red talons racked at his face. He ducked away. Come on, the red dragon saw. Stop pulling back. Find the color inside you and let it out. I'm trying, Clay said. Maybe if we could stop and talk about it. She lunged for him again. Feint to the left. Roll right. Use your fire. Clay tried to duck under her wing to attack her from below, but of course he rode the wrong way. One of the talons smashed him to the ground, and he yelped with pain. Which left was that useless? Kestrel bellowed in his ear. Are all mudwings so stupid, or are you just deaf? Well, if you keep that up, I will be soon. Clay thought. The skywing lifted her claws and he wriggled free. I don't know about other mudwings, he protested, licking his sore talons. Obviously, but perhaps we could try fighting without all the shouting and see. He stopped, hearing the familiar hiss that came before one of Kestrel's fire attacks. He threw his wings over his head, tucked his long neck in, and rolled into the maze of stalagmites that studded one corner of the cave. Flames blasted the rocks around him, singing the tip of his tail. Coward! The older dragon bellowed. She smashed one of the rock columns into a shower of sharp black pebbles. Clay covered his eyes and almost immediately felt her stamp down hard on his tail. Ow! He yelled. You said Stomping Tails was cheating! He seized the closest stalagmite between his claws and scrambled up on top of it. From his perch near the roof, he glared down at his guardian. I'm your teacher, Kestrel snarled. Nothing I do is cheating. Get down here and fight like a skywing. But I'm not a skywing, Clay thought rebelliously. I'm a mudwing. I don't like setting things on fire or flapping around in circles, biting at dragons' necks. His teeth still ached from Kestrel's jewel-hard scales. Can't I fight one of the others? He asked. I'm much better at that. The other dragonets were his own size, nearly, and they didn't cheat well most of the time. He actually liked fighting with them. Oh yes, which one would you prefer? The stunned Stanwing or the lazy Rainwing? Kestrel said, because I'm sure you'll get to choose out on the battlefield. Her tail glowed like embers as she lashed it back and forth. Glory's not lazy, he said loyally. She's just not built for fighting, that's all. Webb says there's not that much to fight about in the rainforest because the rainwings have all the food they want. He says that's why they've stayed out of the war so far, because none of the rival queens want rainwings in their armies anyway. He says, Stop yammering and get down here, Kestrel roared. She reared up on her back legs and flared her wings so suddenly she looked 3 times bigger. With a yelp of alarm, Clay tried to leap to the next stalagmite, but his wings unfurled too slowly and he smacked into the side of it instead. Sparks flew as his claws scraped down the jagged rock. He let another yowl of pain as Kestrel smacked her head between the columns, seized his tail in her teeth, and yanked him out into the open. Her talons closed around his neck as she hissed in his ear. Where's the violent little monster I saw when you hatched? That's the dragon we need for the prophecy. Gulp. Clay squawked, clawing at her grip. He could feel the strange burned scars on her palms scraping against his scales. This was how battle training with Kestrel always ended, with him unconscious and then sore or limping for days afterward. Fight back, he thought. Get mad! Do something! But although he was the biggest of the dragonettes, they were still a year away from being full grown. And Kestrel towered over him. He tried to summon some hopeful violent rage, but all he could think was, "It'll be over soon, and then I can go have dinner." So not the most heroic train of thought. Suddenly, Kestrel let out a roar and dropped him. Fire blasted over Clay's head as he hit the floor with a thud. The red dragon whirled round behind her, painting differently. Was the sea-wing dragonet Tsunami. A red gold scale was caught between her sharp white teeth. She spat it out and glared at their teacher. "Stop picking on Clay," Tsunami growled, "or I'll bite you again." The deep blue scales shimmered like cobalt glass in the torchlight. The gills in her long neck were pulsing like they always did when she was angry. She sat back and flipped to around and examined the right one. She bared her teeth as she said, "Aren't you sweet? Protecting the dragon while you were still in it. But look at you, big dragons were there to save our lives," Tsunami said. "And we sure appreciate it because now we get to hear about it all the time." She marched to stand between Clay and Kestrel. Clay winced. He hated hearing the story. He didn't understand it. He'd never want to hurt the other dragonets. So why had he attacked their eggs during hatching? Did he really have a killer monster inside of him somewhere? The other minders, Webs and Doom, said he'd been ferocious when he hatched. They'd had to throw him in the river to protect the other eggs from him. Kestrel wanted him to find that monster and use it when he fought. But he was afraid if he ever did it, he would hate himself and so would everyone else. Thinking about what he'd nearly done to his friends made him feel like all the fire had been sucked out of him. He didn't particularly want to be a violent, angry monster, even if Kestrel thought that would be an improvement. But maybe that was the only way to make the prophecy come true. Maybe that monster was his destiny. Okay, we just have 2 minutes more of this recording. Alright, Kestrel said. This Malivi. I don't know how to say that word. We're finished here anyway. I'll mark in our failure on your scroll, Mudwayne. She snorted a small flame into the air and swept out of the cave. Clay flopped down on the floor as soon as her red tail had vanished from sight. It felt like every one of his scales was stinging from the burns. "She's going to be so mean to you during your training tomorrow," he said to Tsunami. "Oh no," the sea-wing dragon guessed. "I've never seen Kestrel be mean before. That would be unexpected and so out of character." "Ow," Clay groaned. "Don't make me laugh. I think my ribs are broken." "Your ribs are not broken," Tsunami said, poking him in the side of her nose. "Dragon bones are almost as hard as diamonds. You're fine. Get up and jump in the river." "No!" Clay buried his head under his wing. Too cold. Jump in the river was Tsunami's solution for everything. Bored, aching bones, dry scales, brain overstuffed with history of the war. Jump in the river! She'd shout whenever any other of the dragonets complained. She certainly did not care that that she was the only one who could breathe underwater, or that the most dragon tribes hated getting wet. Clay didn't mind being wet, but he couldn't stand being cold. And the underground river that flowed through their cave home was always freezing. Okay, we're gonna stop right there. We'll see you guys later. We're just like a few more pages in chapter 2, so yeah, bye!